Alright, timestamp July 26, 2025, 9:05 a.m. Um, Tiny has taken, we just came in from walking the three dogs out back. Um, Sir Scrappy A. Cornelius was exhibiting some zoomies, so Tiny went back outside with the scraps to try and get some of that out of his system, because he runs around here like a maniac, which is fun to watch. The poor chihuahuas, man, they're just like little legs trying to get him out of the path. Doesn't always work out well. Sometimes there's stampede, and then there's sadness. Trying to get our heads in the game. Pretty much, we got some stuff done yesterday, but Tiny mostly slept, and I mostly played on the computer. I did get some kitchen stuff done that I needed to get done, so got some chicken prepped. I got some big old strips of chicken soaking right now in olive oil and Italian seasoning, a little extra oregano. Health benefits, oregano. It's just a common, everyday spice that gets used in America, but there's a lot of really, really great health benefits to go along with it. Stuff that, as I have a cigar in my hand. Clearly, I'm quite the health guru. But, no, there's some stuff in there that is actually really good for me, and I'm working on it, man. On that note, health check, I feel pretty good. A little congestion in the nose, but I just got up like an hour ago, and I'm always, my sinuses are always a little when I first get up. Breathing's okay. Had a momentary panic attack kind of thing not when I first got up, but like 5 or 10 minutes after I got up. I started the coffee and sat down, started to sip my coffee. I was about to actually do a recording, and then suddenly my heart started racing and whatnot. I'm like, really? Really? Not cool, Did my computer video game dailies. If you're in a paused it because Tiny was, there's a missing 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Paused it because Tiny was coming in, and pretty much everybody in my family is like, we respect what you're doing, we like what you're doing, but we don't necessarily want to be on camera. So I'm respecting the wishes of my clan. Yeah, I've been the 2 minutes 53. I've been watching the Epstein situation. Here's the thing regarding that, because I'll weigh in on this real quick. I think I might have mentioned some things before, but just to make sure that my point is out here. King Cheeto is in the files. I don't know to what capacity, based on the stuff with E. Jean Carroll and the numerous other young women who have come forward over the years. I don't have high expectations as to his innocence. Now, and maybe I'm wrong on this. Anybody out there want to correct me? But I want to say when this first came out-ish back in like 2019 or what have you, there was some information that came out regarding like Maxwell's trial and all that, and I want to say that the media had identified Cheeto as Doe, DOE 174 in the documents. I prefer to call it Doe 174 because I think that's more appropriate because of who he is. So, if that is in fact true, which I think my memory is right on this one. We've known he was in the files for, 6 years, 8 years. So the idea of, oh no, there's no files, he's not in the file. Of course he's in the files. And of course, there are files because Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, who, let's face it, is pretty much every bit as despicable as Epstein. She was literally his partner in crime. She's serving 20 plus years. So if there's nothing to see here, there's no evidence, there's nothing, this is all a big misunderstanding. How did she get sentenced to such a long prison term? And what about Epstein's charges down in Florida? I say I'm in Florida. But back, 20 years ago, where he was found guilty of prostituting minors, I think was the actual charge they settled on, when he got sentenced to go to the day camp known as prison, where he could be out and about during the day but had to sleep at the jail. Which, boy, that's a cushy deal. So you can go live your life, and then you've just got, a 2-star dive that you have to actually bunk at. Okay. I can do whatever I want during the daytime, but I gotta check in and sleep here. Yeah, that's rough. Running an underage prostitution ring, God, the penalty is so strict. Here's the thing. 174. Now, if we assume that they're doing things sequential, we know that Prince Andrew settled out of court with a few young ladies who say that there was some diddling that didn't need to be diddled. That means and we'll say that Prince Andrew is one of the other ones below the Orange Menace. That means there's still 172 other people named in this thing under the Doe title. And you know what? It may be a Hollywood director that just hopped on Epstein's plane because he happened to be going to LA, and rich people travel in circles. It's possible. And it's also possible that a lot of those people are other wealthy, powerful dirtbags who were paying to play with underage girls, because that's kind of apparently what Epstein's main gig was. And I know a lot of people are saying about Bill Clinton. Based on Monica, the cigar, and some other things that came out over the years, I think Bill Clinton's probably a dirty old man. And I still maintain that his relationship with Hillary was more of a business arrangement than a marriage. I do. I think that. Tinfoil hat, whatever, I've never seen them be romantically cozy, ever. And I think Hillary was an ambitious young lady who understood the politics of how hard it is for a woman in America, a female politician, to actually get somewhere. Something, you can look this up, by the way. When Bill Clinton went into office, the first time around, first elected president, Hillary had a healthcare reform folder that she was able to present during like the first week. It was her plan that she had drafted up. I remember this because I was alive when it happened. It's pretty ambitious for a first lady. That's the kind of thing that, and I mean, I know she's Secretary of State and some other positions over the years, but that's really ambitious for a first lady. That's a lot bigger than be best. Eleanor Roosevelt was a mover and a shaker, but a lot of your first ladies don't get that involved in politics and or reform, but she did. So, do I think Bill Clinton is in the files? Absolutely. Absolutely. To what capacity? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Do I think he's a dirty old man? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because if nothing else, let's look at history. Monica, a lot younger than him. A lot younger than him. She was an intern. My understanding of it. Well, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, except when you dip it. Yeah, I know I'm mixing my pop culture references. For the sake of comedy. Here's the thing. I think the Dems have said... Oi. Talking here. I'm talking. You mind? Oi. I think the Dems have sat back and said, you know what? We know, because it could have gotten, this stuff could have gotten released under Biden's watch. And the Dems held back too. I think if they release this, if anybody releases the full, partially redacted, not redacted version of it, the line, they bleed on both sides, will be historically accurate. But I think the Dems have finally come to the point where, because of how much they want to get rid of this guy, which, he's an awful human being. He's an awful human... I'm not talking about Bill, I'm talking about the other guy. He's an awful human being. He just is. I don't understand why the evangelicals have decided that he's the Messiah. Because it's so obvious that I don't think he's the Antichrist, but... Because, biblically speaking, the Antichrist is going to pretty much fool the world into thinking that he has all the answers. And this guy has not fooled the world. In fact, just about every other country is looking at us going, what are you doing? When did you become stupid? Do you not see what this person is? You know. So yeah, I don't think he gets that title. But I think he's pretty awful. He's the most self-serving person I think I've ever seen, ever, like, historically. Maybe Caligula. I might, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like a modern-day Caligula. Anyway. But I think the Dems have finally gotten to the point where they're like, we're going to make Bill, internally at least, a martyr. We will sacrifice him on the altar to get rid of this guy. That's what I think. I think they finally got to the point where they're like, we actually have the opportunity to get this guy out of power. And if we do this, Bill's going to get exposed politically. But we got to do it. We got to take Old Yeller out back, you know. Something else. Watching some of the news coverage and whatnot. I've heard, okay, because I'm a big fan of language. I love words, semantics, all that kind of stuff, and I love double entendres and playing with that in comedy and in other ways. Because words are just, they're magic, they're fun. I heard someone say that Maxwell was intimately involved in Epstein's business, and I'm like, ooh. Yes. And, And I also heard somebody else say something about how the Epstein debate was really penetrating the Republican Party, and I'm like, I I don't think you should use that verb. I don't think you should use that verb. I do not. I think you should go to the thesaurus and I need a synonym for penetrating. Just that's the kind of shit I'd say on stage to be funny. You know. Anyway. So yeah, I'm going to be making some eggs and sausage here in a minute. Or sausage. Fun size. How we doing? Tiny and I were just discussing the idea of, she was like, I kind of want to eat. And I'm like, I was thinking about breakfast and that. You ever done this with your kid where you say you're thinking about something and they're like, or even your spouse, you know. It always makes me think of like Garth from Wayne's World, you know. What'd you have in mind? You know, like eggs and sausage. I could wait. I don't have to make something this second. Okay. So I'm going to be making eggs and sausage here in a few. Trying to get our game plan together. Tiny slept yesterday. We both did get some stuff done, but not nearly what we can get done. And I don't really feel guilty because I've been advised by those near and dear to me that I need to remember my work-life balance. If you're into this sort of thing, I'm a Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, Taurus Rising. I'm okay with working every moment that I'm awake. And it's been a real struggle the past few years to remind myself that I don't actually have to do that. I don't have to do that. I can actually have a few minutes to myself and I don't need to feel guilty about it. But yeah, so kind of getting our heads in the game, the idea of, okay, you're going to work on this, I'm going to work on this, ready, break, you know. Did leave a message on the septic. I don't think I mentioned this, maybe I did. If I did, I'm sorry. But basically said, you know, hey, you haven't talked to me in a week. You don't do this to clients. So I don't know what that's going to lead to. I don't know if I'm going to get the electrician out. And I'm hoping the electrician says, yeah, no, I can do my stuff. I can see what they've got done, and yeah, we're good. And at that point, if I need to go out there with Tiny, a couple of shovels, and just start burying it ourselves, we will. I don't even know. I just know that I'm rather unimpressed. Because yes, it rained a couple of days this week. And I know that when you're dealing with a construction crew or, you know, something like that, rain, you got the day off. But here's the thing. Your phone has worked. Your phone, over the past 7 days, 8 days, your phone has worked. I guarantee it. You could have called and told me the status of our job. Are we done? Are we just waiting for the burying? Are you waiting on me to get the electrician out here? Because it'd be swell if you told me that. Because I could have, because my phone does work. I could have made that call, 5 business days ago. But I didn't know because you haven't communicated with me. So I have no idea how that's going to play out. I just know that I'm a little annoyed. But I've got to take steps to move forward because I can't wait another week for you to decide to do your job. I can't. I have to move forward. Just because I think it's a little unreasonable to ask me to wait another week, especially with no communication. I think that's kind of... This is how you lose business, right here. Right here. This is how you do it. So yeah. Just looking over my list and some of the different things, and just eyeballing, like, I can get that done, I can get that done. But yeah, on the other thing, I think they're willing to, I think they're at the point now where it's so important, so crucial, um, that they're willing to sacrifice Bill. And I don't think they were willing to do it before. I think it was kind of a, yeah, we could publish these files. I know Garland was kind of, Captain Slowwalker, but Biden could have pushed it. He could have been like, no, we need to get this out there. We need to get this out there. This is some ugly stuff. We need to expose this. But I personally think, it's just my opinion, allegedly, I think that there's been a quiet agreement between both parties of, okay, if this stuff gets out, man, we're both going to look stupid. Because you got people on this list. We got people on this list. Let's just hope everybody forgets about it. Maxwell's in jail, Epstein's dead, which is that's still kind of what actually happened here. Because that whole thing is pretty sus. Apparently there's, when you look at the splicing and stuff, there's actually 2 minutes and 53 seconds missing. And I heard someone say, that's enough time to do the deed and make a sandwich. And I'm like, no, then you could eat a 6-pack of McNuggets pretty easily. They're small. Do I think he was murdered? I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it's real possible. And I also think it's possible that he was convinced by someone else that if you don't take care of business yourself, we will take care of your business for you. In a very, you should find a tall building to fall out of, or we can help you, One of my Gorf mugs. Seriously, my favorite arcade game from the 80s. Actually, Gauntlet, close contender. Solo play, though? Yeah, Gorf. Crazy Space Invader style game. Love it. I will have one eventually. There's actually one I'm eyeballing. It's like 2000. It's supposed to be in decent shape, which they're being a little, with the description, kind of the whole, it works. It's like, but I have seen some, and I'm not going to do it this second, obviously. I have seen some that are like completely restored, like Arcade New, whatnot, for like 4K. So down the road, I may hold out and get, because I don't have the time or the patience to actually restore them myself. But I may drop the 4K to get a completely restored one, in like a year or something like that. But I will have one in my mini arcade, because, yeah, it's like my favorite game in the 80s. But I'm all over the place this morning, I know. I do not have ADHD. Ooh, coffee. It's just for my girl if she watches this. Squirrel. But yeah, 2 minutes 53 seconds. That's enough time to either do the deed or just to have a very intimate heart-to-heart of what should take place when I leave your cell. You can do the right thing, or I can come back later and do the wrong thing. It really depends on you and what you do after I leave. Have a great night, Jeff. It may have been that kind of conversation. Easy way, hard way, discussion. I don't know. But here's the thing. Wealthy white dude who, let's face it, kind of schmoozed, beat the rap for it in Florida years before. Got the cushiest of cushies as far as his, we'll call it, sentence. It's more of a fragment. Hey, a grammar joke. So now he's in trouble again, but again, wealthy ass white guy. Sudden pangs of guilt. The sudden concern that, oh no, I'm a wealthy white guy and I'm in trouble. The end is near. My point here is not really the suicidal type. Not really. Because he doesn't need to worry. Except he knows stuff. Oh, and I know one of the other things I'm hearing is, there's no proof that he was blackmailing people, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that he was blackmailing people. I really don't. I think he made his money in that respect by selling tickets to the amusement park, not threatening the guests, if that makes sense. I mean, if somebody says they're going to expose him, which it's probably not the best word to use either, but if you expose him, you're exposing yourself. He's got that insurance. You know what I mean? If you tell on me, you're telling on yourself in the process. Otherwise, how do you know what I do? You can complain about the party all you want, but you attended. So you're going to keep your mouth shut. And I don't need any money from you on that. Blackmail, it's beneath me. You paid to play. I do have a receipt on that. So do what you want with that. But yeah, there's no proof of blackmail. I don't know that he did. I don't know that he needed to. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm going to chill out for a couple minutes, make sure I'm absolutely up on my dailies on this video game thing, and then for you, fun-sized eggs and sausage. Make it a great day.